came out yesterday for the 2025 Spring Game. A lot of the attention was on the three QBs that played in the game. Redshirt freshman Julian Sayin went 17 of 24 for 175 yards and a touchdown. Third-year sophomore Lincoln Keenholz went 12 of 18 for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. And true freshman Tavian St. Clair went 11 of 15 for 116 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. It's officially Masters Sunday. Rory McIlroy shot 6 under for the second day in a row to sit atop the leaderboard at 12 under par. Bryson DeChambeau is 2 shots back in second, and the final pairing will tee off this afternoon at 2:30. The Columbus Blue Jackets dominated the Washington Capitals last night 7-0, and the two teams will face off again tonight at 6 p.m. It is the final day of the NBA regular season, and the Cleveland Cavaliers will take on the Indiana Pacers at 1 p.m. tonight. And the Cincinnati Reds beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-2 yesterday, and the two sides will meet again today at 1:40.
From ONN, this is Hollywood Casinos On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Here are your hosts, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Welcome to On the Money. I am Dave Biddle. Filling in for Scotty Vegas is Ryan Baker. We have Cam Taylor at the controls. We're down a wolf, but we're a wolf pack, and Ryan is filling in for Scotty. Scotty, feel better, man. Hopefully you're asleep and not even listening right now, but hopefully Scotty feels better so he can enjoy his Masters betting later today. Ryan Baker, how you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm doing great, Dave. It has been a while since I have been a part of On the Money. It is nice to be back and to hang out with you this morning, and we'll get to do a little double duty with this because we'll get to hang out a little bit later as well.
Oh, my debut. I just thought of this. I knew I was doing it, but this just occurred to me. My debut on the relatively new Van Collins show.
It's going to be a good time. There's so much, as you know, and we're going to get into, there is so much to talk about today.
There's a ton to talk about today. We're going to talk Ohio State football. We're going to talk Masters betting. We're going to talk Nico. We're going to talk about Nico. Let's just start with that. We're going to obviously talk plenty of Ohio State football with the spring game yesterday, what that meant, guys that stood out, and what does that mean for the 2025 Buckeyes. We're going to get into all that throughout the show. Throughout the 3 hours, we're going to be with you, including the Collins show. But I'm going to start with the Nico stuff. Tell me if you agree with this or not. I don't think that this is sustainable. Not pay to play, which is what I call it. It's not NIL. It's PTP. That's always going to be here, and it should. These guys should be getting paid. Here's what I don't think is sustainable. An above-average quarterback making $2.2 million a year, and that's not enough. Now, 5 years from now, or pick a year. 5 years from now, rich people don't get rich, Ryan, by throwing their money away. And when the return of investment starts to be, I'm paying how much for a guy who's like an above-average quarterback? I don't think that model is sustainable at all. Now, will guys still be getting paid? Of course they will, and they should be. I'm glad these guys are getting paid. But I don't think these dollar amounts are sustainable.
No, and I think that's what everybody's kind of said from the beginning, right, is this isn't sustainable because you talk about those rich people, not only do they want their return on investment, but those rich people are also the ones that have to pay for all these buildings too. So their money can only go so far, right? And I can't believe we got here this fast. This was kind of like the doomsday situation, right? Like one of these big-time programs, and I don't know if you consider Tennessee a big-time program, but they were in the college football playoff this year. They're an SEC team. They've won national championships.
Massive fan base.
Where I would guess to say Nico's their best player. Maybe not, but he's their quarterback. It's the biggest position. Holds them hostage on the day before their spring game.
Right before the portal opens.
And says, hey, guess what? I'm just going to hold out. And here's the thing. You can't fault Nico other than being a bad teammate. You can't fault him for wanting to get as much as he can, right? Who knows if Nico has a pro football career ahead of him or not? Who knows if he's good enough to be an NFL player and make money? This may be his only time to capitalize on his athletic ability. So good on him for trying to get all that money, but good on Tennessee for standing their ground and saying, look, dude, this is bigger than you. We will be fine. We will go on without you. This is what was agreed upon. This is what we're doing. Go pound sand. And unfortunately, I don't know. If Nico's good enough, maybe there's someone out there that's willing to give him what he wants. But guess what? There may not be. And you may end up playing somewhere next year for less. Now, I'm guessing there's going to be a team who thinks they're a quarterback away, and they will go out and give Nico the $4 million, $5 million, whatever it is he wants, at least the 2.2 he was getting from Tennessee. But guess what, bud? There's a chance that maybe you don't get 2.2 million. Maybe you get $1 million next year. And listen, we've seen this in the NFL before with guys. I think of Baker Mayfield, who had to take his medicine a little bit after the split with the Browns and sign like a cheap one-year deal somewhere. Now, it worked out for him. In the long run, he got his money, but there's a couple years there that he can never go back and get money lost from those years.
Yeah, a couple of things here with Nico. First of all, to your point, I mean, if you're Tennessee, you don't want to set the precedent of, okay, a player's going to hold us hostage, right before the portal opens, and we're going to bend to that. That'd be a horrible precedent to set. Now, if Nico was a great quarterback, maybe you do it because he's the quarterback, right? But he's an above-average quarterback. Is that fair? I'm not ripping the kid. He's not, in my opinion, great. He doesn't suck. He's above-average college quarterback. Could he be better than that? Yes. His second year in college this past year, he was an above-average quarterback. He's tough.
I think the way I would put it is he's a good college quarterback.
You think he's good?
He's not really good.
Okay.
He's
good
not
is all right.
Great. I think he's a little better than average, so he's a good college quarterback.
And those are worth a lot, and I can see that being worth $2.2 million. Another point here, because I've wondered this, and I think I have the answer here, because tampering is rampant, as we all know, in college football now. I don't think Nico and his team, because this is definitely his family and his agent, I don't think there's any way, Ryan, that they would have taken this bold step unless they knew for sure through back channels that someone was going to pay him what he wanted, or at least more than $2.2 million. Would you really risk $2.2 million if you didn't know for sure? I don't think they would. So I think through back channels, which is really against the rules, but are there any rules in college football? So I think that's another thing at play here. I'm sure he's going to get more money. I'd be shocked if they didn't do their due diligence there. And another thing you said that kind of came to mind, the phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, this isn't Nico's fault. This is the structure that has been created, right? We live in a capitalist society. If somebody offered you a ton of money, maybe more than you thought you were worth, would you take it?
For sure, right?
Yeah, right. So it's not his fault, but you also mentioned something. There are two sides of the coin. He is a bad teammate, so we can say that. We can say don't fault him for wanting more money, especially when Carson Beck is getting $4 million a year. I'm sure his team saw that like, wait a minute. The price just went up if Carson Beck's getting $4 million from Miami, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
You know what's so funny is I had the privilege yesterday to host an event at Nationwide Arena before the Blue Jackets game with Anthony Munoz, one of the toughest, best football players of all time. And we were talking about the 1980 Rose Bowl where USC beat an undefeated #1 Ohio State team in that Rose Bowl. Anthony Munoz didn't play that year. He got hurt like in the first quarter of the first game, blew out his knee. He did not play that whole year, but he talked about he was not going to redshirt. He wanted to get back and he wanted to play one more game with his brothers. So he fought as hard as he could in rehab to get back and play just one game that year in that Rose Bowl with his team because those were his brothers. My, how times have changed, right? When you see something like this. And not every player is like this, but you can't help but say, like, this dude is abandoning his brothers, his teammates.
Cam Hayward's another great example that I use, man. I love that story, by the way. That Anthony Munoz, if not the best left tackle ever, right up there, along with our own Orlando Pace. Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought there. Cam Hayward. Yeah. So in 2010, Cam Hayward's final year at Ohio State. This is after all the Tatgate stuff happened, and they're playing in the Sugar Bowl. Cam Hayward's last game at Ohio State, and he suffers. It was either a pec injury or a shoulder injury. You could look it back. And I remember I was on the sideline at the time, and the trainers were basically telling him, Cam, it's not worth it. Don't go back in there. So Cam, this is not a national championship game. They have sanctions. They don't even know if this game's going to end up counting. It did. But, or maybe, no, it didn't end up counting. They ended up taking it off the board anyway. He's getting ready. You have to get ready for the NFL draft. He has Ohio State's trainers telling him, hey, man, it's not worth it. And Cam was like, forget that. I'm going back in there. Cam Hayward played the entire game. Luke Fickell's the other go-to example, right? His last game at Ohio State. Didn't even tell the coaches he had a torn pec off the bone, and played in the Rose Bowl. Luke Fickell, just tough as nails. So, yeah, times have changed, but there's still some warriors out there for sure. Guys like Peyton Pierce, who we're going to talk about next on The Money.
More of Hollywood Casinos on the money. On the money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Coming up on ONN.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to Hollywood Casinos on the money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
From ONN.
Welcome back to On the Money. Dave Biddle, Ryan Baker, Cam Taylor. Scotty's a little under the weather today, so hopefully he feels better. So Ryan and I are going to be with you for 3 hours today, all the way till noon, including the Fan Collins show. All right, some guys that looked good yesterday at the spring game. And these are guys that didn't just look good yesterday, but I jotted down some guys who I think had good springs overall and are in the plans. So you're in the plans for playing time, not necessarily a starter, maybe a starter. You played well pretty much throughout spring, and then you shined yesterday. Peyton Pierce. It's easy to see why James Laurinaitis gushes about him, Ryan. And it's just, he's so physical. He's got that wrestling background that you and I love. You know, if I was a high school football coach, you know, I'd have my guys wrestle unless they were playing basketball or any type of winter sport. I would have them wrestle. Even if you're just practicing wrestling and you get your butt kicked, it just helps in football so much. So Peyton Pierce looks great, and he's only a redshirt freshman. Easy to see why James Laurinaitis raves about him. Fahim Delane, I think he's gonna round out the two deep, not just because of the interception. He's been looking good throughout spring. They've got some true freshmen on that defense that are not going to be starters, but are going to play a lot. Devin Sanchez, Riley Pettijohn, Fahim Delane's another one. All right, Mylan Graham. I think we have our number 4 receiver. We're wondering who it's going to be, and maybe it will be Bryson Rogers. Maybe it will be Quincy Porter. I think it's going to be Mylan Graham, and I think it's amazing. If they didn't have Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis, and you're going into the season with J.J. Smith and Mylan Graham's your number 2, you're thinking, at least I'd be saying, man, that's a luxury having him as your number 2 receiver. And Mylan Graham's going to be probably the number 4 receiver. He looked great yesterday. Jalen McClain's another guy I jotted down. I think he's going to win that starting job next to Caleb Downs. Not a good day for Malik Hartford, but it was one day. Max Clare looked good. C.J. Donaldson. Bo Jackson looked great. I could go on, but those are some guys. I'll mention some more guys later, but those are some guys I jotted down, Ryan.
So because I had obligations at the Blue Jackets game, I have not seen the spring game yet. But the consensus that you heard pretty much from everyone after the game was Julian Sayin, which I'm sure we're going to get into the quarterback position here. Julian Sayin, Mylan Graham, Bo Jackson, and Peyton Pierce. And you've kind of heard good things about 3 of those guys all spring, and not bad things about Julian Sayin, but the quarterback talk, especially towards the end of the spring leading up to the spring game, had kind of shifted towards Lincoln Keenholz and what a good spring he had. And it doesn't sound like he had a bad game yesterday. He was pretty good as well.
He started slow, but then he came around, yeah.
But Julian was just really good by all accounts.
And started fast. So you hear, not the sports fans overreact, right? So if you get on Twitter, after the first quarter, this quarterback competition's over, based on one quarter of the spring game,
and
even at halftime, because Julian came out there, led the team. Now, part of it was just handing the ball off at times to C.J. Donaldson and Bo Jackson, but he made some good throws. And when you start off, all 3 of his first 3 drives, they scored touchdowns, whereas Lincoln, it took him later to get a touchdown on the board. So Julian comes out, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Everybody on social media is like, quarterback competition's over. I thought after that, Lincoln settled in. And I think even though he threw 2 interceptions, I thought Tavian settled in. And Tavian's going to be a good one down the road. But like we've been saying, we've been saying this all along. Does Lincoln look good? No, he didn't look good early. But does Lincoln look good overall? Has he had a good spring? For sure. He looks good, and I like him. Is Julian going to be the starter? I've said all along, I'd bet heavily he will be. And, and the spring game is one of 15 spring practices. That's how the coaches look at it. It's not nothing. It's extra data point. But I think Sayin had the edge going into yesterday, and I thought he played better than Lincoln. I think he will be the starter.
One guy you mentioned that I'm really excited about, and I think you know this, Bids, and I talked about it on Friday, was Max Clare. And one of the things I wanted to see in the spring game, and it's kind of nice, we got a double bonus here because we knew we had 3 receivers. For sure, but we've talked about the depth, and it seems like we do have the depth at that wide receiver position, especially with Mylan Graham having the game he had. But I thought it was a chance for the tight ends, and I think this is as talented as a tight end room as Ohio State has ever had with a guy like Max Clare and the athletic ability of a Jelani Thurman. I think the tight end this year, and I know there's a lot of mouths to feed, I think the tight end position could have as big a role this year as it's ever had in an Ohio State offense. And I think Max Clare was the biggest addition for Ohio State in the transfer portal. I think this guy has a shot to break single-season records for Ohio State at that position, and I love to see that he got off to a good start.
I'll disagree with you a little bit, even though I love Max Clare. I think Onyeonwa was the most important get because he's left tackle and because they're deep at tight end. Not only is this the most talented tight end room, which I agree with you, this is the deepest. Despite losing G. Scott, they have Clare, they have Thurman, they have Kazmarek, who the tight end coach, Keenan Bailey, calls the best blocking tight end in college football. Now, is he a little biased about his guy? Yeah, maybe, but Kazmarek was destroying dudes in the CFP. He's back, banged up right now, but he'll be fine. And Bennett Christian as well. You needed a left tackle. And Onyeonwa was huge. I think he was the best get. But just like they just do such a good job in the portal, Ryan. I know we have to take a break, but real quick, last year, nothing's going to compare to last year, okay? When it was the perfect storm with Saban retiring and everything, but you get Caleb Downs, You know, you get Julian Sayin, technically a transfer, even though he was there a week longer than we were. You get Quinshon Judkins, you get Will Howard, you get Kaz Merrick, and you get Seth McLaughlin. Unbelievable. I think they did a great job again this year, and it's the same blueprint. They don't overhaul the roster. They identify 5 or 6 guys, and they get them. Max Clare, C.J. Donaldson, Oni Onwa, Daniels.
Logan George.
Logan George looks good. He's going to play a lot. Logan George is going to play. Another guy with a wrestling background. So he's going to play a ton as that number 3 D end. All right, who are some other guys that look good? And I have a bold prediction of a starting spot for the Buckeyes this fall. That's coming up next on The Money.
This is Hollywood Casinos On the Money. On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
From ONN.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. You're listening to Hollywood Casinos On the Money. On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
On ONN.
All right, it's time for a bold prediction for a starting spot for the Buckeyes this fall. Or is it not even bold anymore? Maybe if I said this before spring, it'd be bold. I'm pretty convinced, like, if we could bet on this, I'd bet heavily Austin Saraveld will be the starting right tackle. I think a lot of people assumed, and this still could happen, I'd lose the bet, that Phillip Daniels, when he transferred in from Minnesota, would be the starting right tackle. Played well down the stretch for the Gophers. Only started 4 games. That's because a guy got hurt, but he played really well. Was a redshirt freshman last year. Transfers to Ohio State. Okay, he's going to be the right tackle. But Saraveld, and he's still repping it at guard too, but Saraveld, I think, ended spring as the number 1 right tackle. And here's the thing about this young man. A total of 3 guys were Iron Buckeye during the offseason. Very condensed offseason, Ryan. Jeremiah Smith, Sonny Styles, and Austin Saraveld. Those are the guys that really crush it in the weight room and do everything you want. You know, Mickey Marotti names 3 Iron Buckeyes. Saraveld's one of those. All right, what happened during the national championship run? We all know they rotated 3 guys at 2 guard spots. Only one of those guys played both of those spots, though, left guard and right guard, Saraveld, and he played great. I thought Montgomery played really well, too. Tegra was hit and miss, but Saraveld played really well. And I do believe that they think Tegra, to your point, is better, because you were mentioning this during the break. They think Tegra compared to Daniels, they prefer Tegra. So I think they want to get Saraveld in there as a starter because they love Saraveld. I am convinced that Austin Saraveld will be the starting right tackle this year for the Buckeyes, and Daniels will provide good depth.
And that's the key, right? Because you just mentioned it, because we saw last year, Josh Simmons goes down. Zen Mahalski goes down. Right, yeah. Seth McLaughlin goes down. There was a lot of shifting, and Ohio State does not win the national championship last year if Donovan Jackson doesn't have the ability to go from left guard to left tackle. So that's awesome to hear that you've got a guy like Saraveld who you can put as your starting right tackle. But if Tegra Shabola gets hurt, you can move him to that spot, and Phillip Daniels could come in. It's nice that they have the versatility and the pieces, because we saw last year how important it was. And it sounds like the offensive line did a pretty good job yesterday. And Ryan Day said, hey, we might be looking at the transfer portal for some D-line help, because we know the Buckeyes play and rotate their defensive line so much. They may need a little more depth there, and it's good that the offensive line's playing good enough to give them that challenge and make them realize that.
Yeah, and I really like the depth on the offensive line. Let's say that I'm right and Saraveld is the right tackle. So then you'd have Onionwa, left tackle, Luke Montgomery, left guard, Hinsman at center, Tegra at right guard, and then Saraveld at right tackle. All right, then I like the depth. Daniels as a top tackle, but then you also have Carter Lowe. I know he's a true freshman, but
he's a beast.
You can just see the plan there. They're moving a lot of guys around on the offensive line this spring. Like, this guy plays left tackle and right tackle. This guy plays tackle and guard, center and guard. Okay, Onionwa just playing left tackle. This is his one and only year at Ohio State. He's going to be the starting left tackle. Carter Lowe, is he moving around a lot? No. Playing just left tackle. He's the backup left tackle. As you can see, the blueprint is clear. Onionwa this year, Carter Lowe next year, and then going forward. You also have Josh Padilla at center, another guy with a wrestling background. He provides great depth. And it's twofold. If Hinsman gets hurt, he can go in there. But if a guard gets hurt, then they can move Hinsman to guard and put Padilla in at center. And they have Ian Moore. I like this depth all of a sudden. I can't believe I'm saying that about this offensive line.
And we know that Luke Montgomery has had some reps at center, too.
That's
so the
true.
Versatility is key. You just said something that I love, because I think Carter Lowe was a huge get for Josh Fry this year before he moved on in recruiting. Ethan Onionwa, most of his time has been as a starting player in college at right tackle. So he's a guy that you could move to right tackle if you had to. If Carter Lowe's more comfortable on the left side, bring Carter Lowe in. If he's your next, the versatility is so key on that, in that position.
All right, we like the depth at offensive line. Do we like the depth at defensive tackle? We'll talk about that next on The Money.
More of Hollywood Casinos on the money. On the money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Coming up on ONN.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall from my friends at Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. 2 years ago, I was actually experiencing hip pain for the first time in my life, and I knew I needed the best. So I chose Orthopedic One for my physical therapy needs. And in a matter of weeks, I was rotating that golf swing better than before, and I was the longest hitter in my group again. So be like me and trust Orthopedic One. Several convenient locations around Central Ohio. To find a physician or location near you, go to www.orthopedic1.com.
Huntington
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay, moving up payday so you could get your money faster, up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Act now. Visit bluejackets.com/tickets.
New career opportunities near you. Uline is opening a new 1.4 million square foot distribution center in Etna, and they're looking for exceptional people to join their Ohio team. Interview for warehouse positions at their upcoming April hiring event. Warehouse workers earn pay starting from $25 an hour with significant growth and earning potential. Plus, get full health benefits and a 401k match from day one. Sign up for your interview this April in Etna at uline.jobs. That's uline.jobs.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Hollywood Casinos on the money. On the money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
From ONN.
All right, we're going to get to some Masters betting and odds and all that good stuff in just a moment. But as promised, we talk about a lot about the great depth on this Ohio State team. I like the depth on the offensive line. I like the depth at wide receiver, running back, secondary, linebacker. Defensive tackle, not so much. I'm okay with defensive end. When people ask me, defensive line, the depth's not very good. I'm like, I kind of like the depth at defensive end because Logan George has come in. It's like, this kid, I think, could be like a decent starter if need be, and he's going to be the number 3 guy behind Curry and Jackson. I like C.J. Hicks moving down there, and I like Zion. Go ahead.
Real quick with that depth, that's what I was just going to say. Who is the depth here? Because we know that obviously Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry.
Yeah.
Logan George they brought in from the transfer portal.
And C.J.
Hicks they've moved down. Is that going to be something where he is in play here and in the mix?
Yes, and I think Logan will play more snaps because he's a 3-down defensive end. CJ, we still don't know. Maybe he can do it. He's a tough guy. Maybe he can set the edge, seal the edge. Maybe he can take on, big tight ends. Maybe he can take on offensive tackles when need be. But I think it's going to be a more specialized role. He's a heat-seeking missile off the edge. I think he's going to be that number 4 D end on the 2 deep. I think Logan George will play the most of the backup D ends. I think Zion Grady can help a little bit as a true freshman. Don't put a lot on his plate. And another guy that could help is Dominic Kirks. So they've got some decent depth at D end. D tackle. All right. I really like the starters, and I think they pair up very well with Edric Houston at 3 tech and Caden McDonald, that big boy. I love 1 techs like Caden McDonald. I love that big guy. And now entering his junior year, I think he was a force last year in goal line situations. I think he's going to be great. But you don't want a guy like Caden McDonald playing like every snap of the game, right? He might get gassed a little bit. Who are going to be the top backup D tackles? This is the one area of the team, Ryan Baker, where I have concerns about depth. Now, it's not like grave concerns because they have some guys that could easily step up that were good recruits. Jason Moore's entering his 3rd year. Will Smith Jr. entering his 3rd year. Pretty good bloodlines. You have Eric Mensah entering his 2nd year. And then the other guy that I think's in the mix is 5th-year senior Tywone Malone. I'm hoping, not hoping, it doesn't really matter, but I think Jason Moore and Will Smith Jr., this is kind of their time, entering their 3rd year. So maybe those guys can step up. But I don't like the depth as it stands right now, and I think maybe they'll look at somebody in the portal when that opens next Wednesday or this Wednesday.
Well, and it sounds like after the game that's an area of concern not only for you but for the coaching staff as well, because Ryan Day was asked, point blank, right? Is defensive line an area that you will look at in the transfer portal? And he basically said, yeah.
I've loved his I mean, he's always been really good with the media, I thought. But he's just been, winning the title will do that. It's just taking and he's even talked about this. It's just taking the weight of the world off his shoulders. And he's joked about stuff that I think he probably would have kept in-house before, like when he was talking about how his modus operandi entering spring was basically like, listen, we just played a long season. It just ended like January 20th. We're going to have a, condensed spring. We don't need to go crazy. And then he was like a week into spring ball. He's like, then I decided we need about 6 more weeks of spring. Joking around, but I don't know. I just love the attitude from him. All right, Masters betting. How are your bets doing? Scotty's looking good. Scotty last week, Ryan, he was touting 2 guys. And I wanted to make fun of him, but he's so good at golf betting, I refrained. He was saying, listen, Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau are 2 guys to really keep an eye on. Then he named some long shots too, but those are the 2 guys that he was really confident in. Look at our boy.
Did he bet those guys, though?
I think he did. Just for Scotty, if he didn't go big on them, he'll be like, well, I bet more on this other guy. But he was talking them up. I'm pretty sure he has bets on both of them. Rory 12 under, Bryson 10 under. Jeez, can anybody catch them?
So I may have to eat my words on Rory here because I'm not a Rory guy. And I won't lie to you, I'm still waiting for the implosion. There's no way I think he wins this tournament today. No way
that's
do
a
I
bold
think
prediction.
that Rory McIlroy wins this. Because
I thought Sarahveld at right tackle was a bold prediction. Ryan's like, no, Rory is going to implode. I love it.
We have an 11-year track record of this, right? Rory has 4 major championship wins. None of them ever at Augusta, but he has 4. And they were all within a 2-year span from 2012 to 2014. Yep. A 3 golf season, 2-year span where he won all of his majors. He has not won one in a long time. Some people may say he's due. I just expect the implosion, especially with a guy like Bryson DeChambeau on his tail. You mentioned my betting. My betting is pretty much done from the Masters here. Now, I may throw a little bit on Bryson today because I believe the odds on Bryson at the beginning of the show were plus 240 to win this thing, and I like those odds. Him getting the plus odds like that close to Rory. The one guy that I have in this that still gives me maybe a shot is Ludwig Oberg. He's 6 back, though, of Rory, so you're going to have Rory and DeChambeau fumble a little bit here and Oberg play really good on Sunday. But we just have a track record with Rory, and until he makes me eat my words, I have to see him do it.
I've got a little money on Oberg too, and if you told me when I placed these bets on Thursday that, hey man, he's going to have the 4th best odds entering Sunday, I'd be like, that's cool. But if you told me plus 3,500, I'd be like, that's not cool. It's not as cool as I thought it would be. But here are your updated odds. Rory is your favorite, obviously, minus 190. It's according to our friends over at the ESPN Bet app. Bryson plus 240. Corey Connors 18-1. The aforementioned Ludwig Oberg 35-1. Scotty Scheffler 40-1. And everybody else is an extreme long shot, of course. Patrick Reed, 90-1, and really don't need to even mention anybody else. Jason Day, I was hoping would hang in there, but he's now 200-1. So we'll see what happens. All right, up next, let's get back into the Nico conversation. Is this sustainable in college football? Not NIL. That is going to be around forever. These guys deserve to get paid, but kind of, good players, maybe above average players making $2.2 million. Is that really sustainable? We'll talk more about that next on The Money.
This is Hollywood Casinos On the Money. On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
From ONN.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. My wife and I picked out a beautiful A-frame porch swing with a nice covering on it. We can sit out, get shade from the sun, watch our kids play in the backyard. We're reclaiming our backyard, and we're doing that with Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings in Dublin. You can do that, too. Their spring open house event runs now through April 19th. Some of the best savings of the year on poly furniture, play sets for the kiddos, whatever you need to complete your outdoor space, you'll find it at Getchy's in Dublin. You can also see the selection at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only 79 cents a pound with your card, an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Common Man here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to Hollywood Casinos On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
On ONN.
All right, this Nico stuff is from Tennessee is just taking over the college football world. Is this the tip of the iceberg? Sure seems like it. And what's interesting is, you know, his last college football game, at least for now, was at Neyland North here in beautiful Columbus, Ohio, when he was getting his helmet cracked 2 different times. We're still trying to contact the Tennessee athletic department and see if Scotty Vegas can buy one of those cracked helmets from Nico. Maybe the price has gone down now, Ryan Baker. But, yeah, as I keep saying, I just don't think it's sustainable. Now, pay to play, which is really what it is, that's sustainable. Guys are going to get paid. And guys like Jeremiah Smith should be getting paid a lot. The guys that I think Ohio State has it down perfectly. Like, giving a ton of money to recruits, that's risky. Giving money to guys that have already proven they're really good college players, that's a good business model. That's a good business model. It results in things like national championships. And I hate to say it, but Michigan did it too. What did they do? They invested in 2023. They brought back a bunch of guys that probably would have turned pro. And I hate to talk about it, but they turned out pretty well that year too. And what does Ohio State do? They bring back a bunch of guys that would not have been first-round picks, still probably won't be first-round picks, but would have been day 2 picks, early day 3 picks, and they all came back and they won a national championship. So that's the way to do it. What I don't think is sustainable, Ryan, is guys like Nico getting paid $2.2 million a year. Because let's say you're the biggest donor at Tennessee. Yeah, you have money to burn, but you didn't get rich by burning money. And maybe you're willing to burn a little money, but 5 years from now, are you going to be willing to pay like $2 million for a guy that's arguably good, maybe more like above average? I don't think in 4 to 5 years this is sustainable at all.
We always kind of thought there'd be a price correction on all of this, right? Like, oh, we can do this now. Let's go do. And, you know, let's get this best team we can. Wait a second. We've already expended all of our resources. And like you talked about, one thing I know about rich people is they want more money. They want returns on investment, right? They want to see that they're getting something out of the money they paid. And we were talking in a break, and you talk about the example of like Ohio State hoops this year. The guys that paid for Michi and Aaron Bradshaw probably aren't happy on their return on investment with that. So I don't think you're not going to have guys that are willing to keep doing that while they're paying for stadiums and fields and new buildings and all of this. So it's going to be interesting to see, and chances are here sometime soon, this is all going to be contracts and everything. So maybe we're going to have the course correction by that. But man, it's just, I guess I think of it this way. What if this was like Justin Fields? He had his first year at Ohio State, then the 2020 year with COVID. But let's say that doesn't happen and it's a full season. And let's say we're the day before the spring game and Justin Fields is like, hey, guys, this $2.2 million I'm getting, I don't think it's quite enough. I think you're going to need to double it. Could you imagine what would happen here at Ohio State? The outrage against Justin Fields, the outrage for Justin Fields against the I couldn't even imagine what it's like. And I wonder what it's like down in Knoxville today.
Oh, get on our 24/7 Sports Tennessee message board. You'll find out. And this is even before it became official. They turned on him, and rightfully so. It was just like, all right, listen, dude, you're not. It'd be different if you're the backup quarterback and you sign for like $80,000, but all of a sudden you win the job, then you play well, and you come back, hey, I need a bigger piece of the pie. I'm getting $80K. Come on. That makes sense, right? You're getting $2.2 million, and in my opinion, you're above average. You're saying he's good. Okay, I think that's splitting hairs. We both agree he's not great. He doesn't suck. Above average, good. He's getting paid $2.2 million. He holds you hostage right before the portal opens, right before your spring game. At least Justin Fields, if he in that scenario, would be coming off a really good 2019 season, when I believe he was a Heisman finalist. So, like, you could be like, I think a lot of Buckeye fans might be like, oh, yeah, he's worth it. It's quarterback, he's worth it. Tennessee fans are fed up with it. And, one more thing I hear Ohio State fans real quick. Not a lot of them, because I think a lot of Ohio State fans know it's helped the Buckeyes. I hear some Ohio State fans really complain about the portal and NIL. And I get it, because it's a lot of it's gross, right? But has anybody benefited more than Ohio State from the portal and NIL? We got a lot of money in Columbus, and they use it on the football team. Last time I checked, they've done a bang-up job in the portal, getting guys like, I don't know, Caleb Downs, Quinshon Judkins, Will Howard, a bunch of guys are going to help this year as well, Max Clare, Oni Onwa. And they don't lose guys in the portal that they really miss. I mean, I'm not talking about Joe Burrow. That was a different situation. And Dwayne Haskins had a phenomenal year.
And it's crazy, but it was all different back then, too. From Joe Burrow's time of transferring to now is a whole different world.
For sure. All right. Up next, more Masters betting, more Ohio State football coming at you on the money.
More of Hollywood Casinos on the money. On the money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Coming up on ONN.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
We plant trees because people need trees. And when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNRadio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to Hollywood Casinos On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
From ONN.
All right, as he is wont to do, Ryan Baker had a great point as we were chatting during the break. And, you know, are we headed down a path where, let's say, a team makes the playoffs, or they even don't just make the playoffs, the CFP, they get to the semifinals or even the national championship game. Star player comes to whoever and says, for me to play in this game, I'm going to need X amount of dollars. There's a first for everything, right? There was the first guys that sat out of bowl games, and people are like, oh, I can't believe this is going on. The first guys that did this or that. The first of,
That was on the money, right?
Yeah.
First guys to do this or that.
That's exactly right. Nice. Nico is the first doing what he's doing. So I do think someone is going to do this, Ryan. You made a good point. Someone's going to go. It could have been Nico this past year. He could have went to Tennessee before they played Ohio State and said, no, you got to double my pay or I'm not playing in the playoffs. It's going to happen.
And this is something that we were talking about this week on Bishop and Friends, and it's like, man, this Nico story, is this as bad as it gets? And does it take, like, say Ohio State gets into the national championship game this year and one of their best players says, hey, you know what, guys? You're going to have to up the ante here. I can't play in this national championship game without it. And it's unfathomable to think, right? Because we've never seen it. But like you said, somebody always has to be the first. There was somebody once that was rubbing sticks together for some reason and got fired all of a sudden. So it's unfathomable because we've never seen it. But is that the Titanic hitting the iceberg that makes them blow this up and say, we've got to figure this out. We've got to get this fixed?
Interesting. I think if it became rampant, yes. I do think it's going to happen, but it's going to be few and far between. So most of these guys, let's take Ohio State, for example. Most of these guys are already taken care of. Guys that were making a lot of money last year have already gotten raises, put it that way. It's crazy to say this about college football, but it is what it is. So I don't think you're going to see it a lot. But I do think you're going to see it. Like here and there. You're going to see like some, oh my gosh, this guy at name a school. This guy, Ole Miss makes the playoffs or somebody, or South Carolina makes the playoffs and their star player, they're like an 8 seed or whatever, a 9 seed. He wants to get ready for the draft. He's like, for me to play in the playoffs, you're going to have to, double my pay. We're going to see that. We're definitely going to see that. And then we're going to see, and this might happen behind closed doors and we don't know about it, but it's getting to the point where a team says no, a college says no, we're not going to do that, and the player just sits out and we find out about it.
Who has more leverage, by the way, now that we're talking about this? Someone at an Ohio State or an Alabama or a Georgia? Or someone like last year, say Ashton Genty did this to Boise State. And he's like, hey, I know we've never been here before, guys, but you're only here because of me. Who has more leverage? Because I wonder what's more catastrophic, what's more devastating, because we're here in Ohio State world, and I feel like if somebody did it at Ohio State, that would cause change, because Ohio State would be like, no. And we know Ohio State is one of the few that helps run college football.
Depends on who it is, though, and when.
It's all.
If it's after the season, because I know after the season, some guys got bumps, and rightfully so. The going rate went up, and these guys have proven to be star players in college, not potential stars. So so Ohio State does a good job with that, but I don't think you're going to see at Ohio State a guy doing what we're saying eventually will happen, like sitting out a playoff game if he doesn't get his contract renegotiated.
I'm one of the few that once the university's out of this, I don't think the players should be paid by the university. I'm all for NIL and these guys going out and getting their deals and getting as much money as they can that way, or selling jerseys or video game rights, whatever. I want the universities out of all of this, but all of this stuff makes me want to puke, because it's such a weird dynamic, and I guess it has been, but this is truly the professionalism of college athletics.
No doubt about that. And we're going to talk more about it in the second hour. And we're going to take your calls next. 614-821-9710. 614-821-9710. This is On the Money.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You know, my wife and I picked out a beautiful A-frame porch swing with a nice covering on it. We could sit out, get shade from the sun, watch our kids play in the backyard. We're reclaiming our backyard, and we're doing that with Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings in Dublin. You can do that, too. Their spring open house event runs now through April 19th. Some of the best savings of the year on poly furniture, play sets for the kiddos, whatever you need to complete your outdoor space, you'll find it at Getchy's in Dublin. You can also see the selection at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to raisetheroof@10tv.com. That's raisetheroof@10tv.com. Nominate a hero today and help us raise the roof for those who are making a difference.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan.
And I'm Cam Taylor. 40,000 fans came out yesterday for the 2025 Spring Game. A lot of the attention was on the three QBs that played in the game. Redshirt freshman Julian Sand went 17 of 24 for 175 yards and a touchdown. Third-year sophomore Lincoln Keenholz went 12 of 18 for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. And true freshman Tavian St. Clair went 11 of 15 for 116 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. It's officially Masters Sunday. Rory McIlroy shot 6 under for the second day in a row to sit atop the leaderboard at 12 under par. Bryson DeChambeau is 2 shots back in second, and the final pairing will tee off this afternoon at 2:30. The Columbus Blue Jackets dominated the Washington Capitals last night 7-0, and the two teams will face off again tonight at 6 p.m. It is the final day of the NBA regular season, and the Cleveland Cavaliers will take on the Indiana Pacers at 1 p.m. tonight, and the Cincinnati Reds beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-2 yesterday, and the two sides will meet again today at 1:40.
Scotty's kids don't ask how his day was. They ask if all his bets won. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. What a play.
Welcome back to On the Money, right here on The Fan. I am Dave Biddle. I'm joined by Ryan Baker, Scotty Vegas, under the weather. Hope you feel better, Scotty. And we have producer Cam Taylor at the controls. We're going to be taking your call, 614-821-9710, about anything, Masters betting, Ohio State football, this Nico situation at Tennessee. Well, I guess used to be at Tennessee. So we're going to take your calls next, 614-821-9710. We have Nate on the line, but right now, so hold on there, Nate. We're going to get to you in a moment, but right about now, it's time for the Parlay Party. Hit it, Cam. The Parlay Party is where we celebrate anything we want to celebrate. Could be a nice parlay that we hit. Could be anything at all. Ryan Baker, what are you celebrating today?
Well, we mentioned it a little bit in the first hour, Dave, but what a cool experience I got yesterday being able to host a little Q&A with 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers, and Anthony Munoz and Dick Vermeil. Just what a cool time. One, just getting ready for it and reading up on these guys a little more and hearing more about their stories and some of the cool things. Like Anthony Munoz, I know he's one of the best offensive linemen ever to play in the NFL. I did not know he was a pitcher on a national championship baseball team in college, too.
I didn't know that
baseball
either.
At USC as well. Baseball was actually his first love, and it's one of the reasons he went to USC is because they had a tradition of letting their football players play baseball, too. So
imagine seeing that guy on the mound. You come up to the plate, you see that beast on the mound.
I don't think I'm charging the mound if he hits me.
No.
But then Dick Vermeil at 88 years old, still sharp as a tack, remembering numbers and minute details of stories that happened 30 and 40 years ago. So it was just very cool. Also, super pumped about this race here for the Jackets team. Is it probable that they're going to make it into the playoffs? Hell no, it's not right now. But I'll tell you what, they won 7-0 yesterday, and the Canadians lost in overtime, so they still got a chance. The Rangers lost. I believe the Red Wings lost too, so everything played out for them. Now they still got to go out and keep winning. They can't not lose a game, but they've got another one today against the Capitals, a return matchup tonight at 6. And it's going to be a great day because I've got good sports on. I've got the Masters, then I've got the Jackets, so I'm going to be sitting there working on my taxes, watching some good sports all day. The taxes part kind of sucks, but good sports to watch. I'm all for it.
Yeah, you need to leave the taxes out of it. Redact that from his statement. This is the Parlay Party. We don't talk about taxes.
But if you got to do them, you might as well do them while you're watching the Masters and your favorite team.
It's a good point. I'm celebrating just the season, the CBJ. It's this house money. Are they going to make the playoffs? As Ryan said, probably not. The fact that they're still in it is awesome. And I love looking at the stats. It's like, I needed Adam Fantilli to get at least 20-20 this year. Oh, how about 27-23 and counting? Ken Johnson, he's having a good year. Marchenko's broken out as a complete superstar. Zach's having the best year of his excellent career. On and on and on and on. I love, people made fun of the Monahan contract when they signed him. How's that looking? He's averaging more than a point per game. I don't think Jackets fans were making fun of it. Yeah, and he adds that they have such a young core, as you know, tons more about the Jackets than I do, but he brings that veteran presence. So the future is so bright. I love the CBJ. And I'm not trying to one-up you here, but I'm also going to talk about a really treat I had yesterday. I wasn't with Anthony Munoz or Dick Vermeil, but I was with some legends. I had a chance to co-host the fan tailgate show before the spring game with my friend Anthony Rothman and my friend Tim May. And then we had Jim Lachey on. We had Paul Keels on. We had Tyvis Powell on. That was really, really, really cool. And he had people coming up during the commercial break. We met a lot of people that I met for the first time. We also had Ross Bjork coming up, talking. So just cool seeing everybody out there. Felt like it was a regular game atmosphere. So that was really cool getting a chance to do that. And I'm celebrating that the Reds have won 4 out of their last 5 games. They're going for the sweep today. They got Hunter Green on the mound. And as I was telling Ryan, it's good business when you can face the Pirates in a series and miss Paul Skeens throughout that series. That's good because he's really good. Cam, what are you celebrating, my friend?
Definitely it's Masters Sunday. Always a great day to get to watch the final day. I'm going to be rooting for Rory, unlike Ryan over there. Hopefully he can get it done, get the career Grand Slam. And then I always talk about TV, so Righteous Gemstones, and then Black Mirror had a new season come out, and so I've been watching that as well.
Yeah, I texted Cam last week. I think I confused you with how I worded it at first. I think you thought, I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I finally jumped on board, and I thought he knew what I was talking about because of Righteous Gemstones. I think he thought like I was like going out of town or something like that. But then we knew what we were talking about, and I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, that's a cool show. Definitely weird, but definitely cool. Like, yeah, that was the first time I saw it.
And Walton Goggins. Oh, Danny, great TV.
I loved Eastbound and Down. Loved it. So like, Danny McBride is just he's so freaking funny.
I just recently got introduced to the Gemstones, so I'll have to catch up on all of this so I know more. Real quick, 2 more things about the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
You mentioned Adam Fantilli. 70-plus next year points from this guy. And that play he had yesterday where he laid the boom on Leonard and then goes down ice and scores the goal. The Blue Jackets have never had a superstar like that plays with an edge, can be physical, can be nasty, but also do it at the other end. And another thing, if the Jackets somehow scrape their way into this playoffs, I have a nice little bet that had Florida winning the national championship, UConn winning the women's national championship, and the Jackets making the playoffs.
Oh, let's go, baby.
If they can scrape their way in there, that'd be a nice little hit.
I tell you what, and Fantilli, only 20 years old, and I heard you guys talking about this on Bishop and Friends. I think I was on my way into Ohio State for interviews the other day, and you guys were saying, like, yeah, it was like, oh, man, everybody was like down in the dumps when the CBJ got the number 3 pick and missing out on Connor Bedard, and you're going to miss out on Fantilli because he's going to go 2. And then all of a sudden, Fantilli slides to 3. It's like, oh, my God, falls right in our lap. And he's having a better year than Connor Bedard. Is that correct? I heard you say that, I think.
So he is the fastest of those 3, Bedard and Leo Carlson, to score 25 goals in a season. Both Carlson and Connor Bedard this year have 20 goals. Now, Bedard has more points, I believe, than Fantilli, but Fantilli more goals.
And now he's up to 27.
Yes.
All right, let's head out to the phone lines. All right. As promised, we're leading off with Nate.
Guys, I wanted to quickly touch on a few things. One, the quarterbacks from yesterday. It was good to see them look pretty solid, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt because we know Matt Patricia was running about as bland of defense as we're going to see. So good to see him look good, but also considering that. The defensive tackle situation, I do want to see us get more depth, like you were saying, but also I think we just need to start realizing we may have the best offensive line in the country. So, we do want to build depth, but also, considering that. And as far as the portal and NIL you were talking about, something I've been thinking about is maybe should they go back to the old transfer rules and where you have to, keep the NIL, but go back to the old rules where you have to sit out for a year if you do decide to transfer, unless you have the head coach leave, like a Saban situation. But What do you all think about that?
That's a great call, Nate. Yeah, I agree. I agree with all those. I agree with all those points. Yeah, and I don't think we can go back to where guys would have to sit out a full year. I think
that's legally been thrown out.
Yeah,
right?
But I do think I think it's reasonable, and maybe it's not reasonable because of it getting thrown out. But I think it is reasonable, maybe to go back to they can transfer once, not twice, or they can transfer twice, but they can't. They would then have to sit out. I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, I don't
probably not going to happen though.
I don't know, like legally, because somebody's going to sue, or somebody has even sued. Who knows? But
yeah,
I'm not sure about that. I'll tell you what. The offensive line may be the best in the country. Gosh, I hope he's right, but that sure seems like a far stretch. We've had for the past 2 or 3 years people say, fire Justin Fry. Well, this tells me if this is the best offensive line in the country, he did a pretty damn good job of getting us some good offensive linemen in here and coaching them up, because this isn't all Tyler Bowen this fast. So it seems like we've reversed course on Justin Fry pretty quick around here. Listen, I hope it's right. I hope he is right. And that this is the best offensive line in the country. That's a big jump, though, from the last couple of years.
I'll be entertained. I definitely think they're going to be good. If they're the best in the country, sign me up for that. All right, let's get to our 2-hole hitter. That would be Greg. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Good morning, guys. I want to talk about the Nico Tennessee thing. I'm kind of ticked because last week I placed like half a dozen futures bets, and Tennessee was one of them. So that looks like it's down to 2, but I don't think it's a very good move on his part. He needs an agent. It's bad timing. He didn't have an ace in the hole saying, hey, I got this team that's going to pay me $3 million or $4 million or whatever he wants. And so now he's out scrambling for a team that's going to pay him the kind of money he thinks he's worth. I just don't think it's a very smart move on his part. My question to you guys is, where do you think he's going to land? There's speculation that he may go to one of the LA teams, or Texas Tech, or North Carolina, or this or that. I don't know.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Here's what I think. I could be wrong, but I talked about this very early in the show. I think he and his team already have a suitor lined up. I don't think he would make this bold of a move if they didn't already know through back channels that someone was willing to pay him what he wants to be paid. Or if not $4 million, which is reportedly what he's asking for, at least more than $2.2 million. So I think I don't know where he's going to go, but I think wherever he goes, he's going to get more than $2.2 million, and he already knows it, Ryan.
It's interesting he says ace in the hole. Well, how do we know he doesn't have an ace in the hole, right? I mean, maybe he doesn't, but like you said, it wouldn't seem very smart to do this without already having an idea. If not one place where he's going to go, 2 or 3 places that have already said, if you do this, hey, we will take you here. It is an interesting conversation, though, because I thought of some of the better teams in the country. I don't think Ohio State would want him over what they've got. I don't think Michigan would take him over Bryce Underwood. I don't think Oregon would take him over Dante Moore. Maybe, though. We don't know exactly what Dante Moore is, but we know he was highly touted coming out. USC, one of the LA schools, maybe, but they have high-level quarterbacks there as well, at least coming in recruiting-wise.
And I don't think
he's not going to Clemson. He's not going to Texas.
Right. USC has the NIL. Does UCLA, though? I've heard their NIL is really not up to par.
And is UCLA going to give you a better platform to showcase your skills than Tennessee? Because I'd have to think Tennessee, not only one, is a better football team, but 2, they're a better coached football team. So that doesn't seem very smart to me. And again, I don't know if Nico is a pro quarterback, so this might be his only time to capitalize on making money playing football. So I can't fault him for that, but I don't know if this move is going to help him at all.
Well, we both agree. We're glad Tennessee told him, go take a hike through the Smoky Mountains.
Pound sand.
Yeah, we're not going to, we're here. You're already overpaid at $2.2 million is basically what they're thinking. All right, let's talk more Ohio State football up next on The Money.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Now's a great time to stock up on Del Monte canned vegetables. Select varieties are on sale for only $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell furnaces instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Colin Mann here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Watching big events are more fun at Hollywood Casino. For example, there's this draft thing coming up. Large men get selected to move to different cities and play football. That's all I'm legally allowed to say. Not only do you get the excitement of on-site wagering and camaraderie, there's prizes to win at the Sportsbook. And sign up for Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on the house. Do it now. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money. It's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening.
You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here. As we go through our Sunday afternoon, we are expecting a mix of clouds and sunshine and a few sprinkles around. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy with a low near 50. By Monday, we are expecting an increase in cloud cover and the chance for showers and thunderstorms here by Monday afternoon. High temperatures reaching the 70s. Eventually, we will be tracking some cooler weather here by Tuesday and Wednesday. That's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White on 97.1 The Fan.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk.
Oh, nuts.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. Dave Biddle was caught trying to bet on office ping pong matchups. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. What a play.
Welcome back to On the Money. Dave Biddle, Scotty Vegas. Well, no, Scotty Vegas is not here. That's me going on autopilot. Dave Biddle, Ryan Baker filling in for Scotty Vegas, who is under the weather.
Do my best Scotty Vegas impression, I guess.
Cam Taylor at the controls. Yeah, I initially had in the show sheet a Scotty Doesn't Know segment, and I changed that to this or that, which we'll do the following segment. But maybe I should have just kept it in there and just called it Ryan Doesn't Know, but we still would have played the Scotty.
Played the Scotty.
Yeah, maybe we should have done that, but we didn't. All right, some other guys that looked good. I'm interested in, we were talking about this during the break, like who's going to, because Jordan Hancock was so darn good as that nickel last year. Who's going to fill in for him? Now, Lorenzo Styles Jr. has been taking most of the first team reps there, and he's a fifth-year senior, and I thought he looked good yesterday. I think he's had a good spring. I know you follow Lorenzo since he's been back in high school, with you following high school football as closely as you do, so I'm curious to get your take on him. Are some other guys working there? Yes. Jermaine Matthews, who's looked absolutely fantastic, wearing that number 7, by the way, which is always a good number for the Buckeyes. He is going to be a starting outside corner probably, but if not, he can play the slot. They've been using him there. Bryce West can play some slot. Miles Lockhart can play some slot. So they got a lot of options there, a lot of options. And then when you have a Devin Sanchez and an Aaron Scott out there, a couple of 5-stars that are backup corners. I know Devin Sanchez is a true freshman. You'd never know it, though, if you didn't already know. Aaron Scott entering his second year. Those are your backup corners, and they're 5-stars. Devin Sanchez, #1 corner recruit in the entire country. So I love the depth back there. I'm curious what they're going to do at nickel, but right now I'd say Lorenzo Styles Jr. Most likely will be the starter.
I love to see how that all plays out there. And last year, before the season even started with Ohio State, I was touting the job that Tim Walton has done in recruiting. Like, it kind of got overshadowed by Brian Hartline and what he's done with the receivers, but it shouldn't have, because what Tim Walton has done, I love this cornerback room. You've got Davison Igbinosun, obviously, who transferred in, but kind of helped change the attitude of the defense, right? When he came in, kind of gave it a little more swagger and a little more physicality, kind of took the lead with that. I've loved Jermaine Matthews since he was at Cincinnati Winton Woods, and I've been beating the drum for Jermaine Matthews because he has that dog mentality like Davison Igbinosun,
yeah, he does.
Devin Sanchez has come in, and obviously he's kind of lived up to the hype. If anybody's been close to what Jeremiah Smith was last year as a freshman this year, it's been Devin Sanchez. And Bryce West and Aaron Scott were two guys that were top 5 cornerbacks in the country that came in together. Tim Walton had 3 classes in a row where he's had 2 top 5 cornerbacks that they've recruited to this team. It is an embarrassment of riches in that secondary, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out, whether it's Igbinosun and Matthews on the outside with Lorenzo Styles Jr. in that Jordan Hancock role, or if a Devin Sanchez or an Aaron Scott just play so well that they move Jermaine Matthews inside to that. It's going to be so fascinating to see what they do back there.
It's a great point because we all talk about Brian Hartline being the best recruiter of wide receivers in the country by a wide margin. But Tim Walton, OG Wald is the best at what he does, recruiting DBs. And I thought Kerry Combs, it wasn't going to get better than that as far as recruiting. Can get a lot better than that as far as being the defensive coordinator. But I think, and that is a high bar, and Kerry did a great job. And even if Walton was matching that, I'd be happy. I think he's even exceeding it because you're right. It's just one class after another, and these guys look great. They're so deep at corner. I also love what James Laurinaitis is doing at linebacker. You know, bringing in Riley Pettijohn, bringing in TJ Alford. I think Riley Pettijohn is going to be that number 4 linebacker. They love their top 3. I mean, Peyton Pierce stepping up is just huge because Cody Simon was awesome last year. They love Sonny. They love Arvell Reese. They knew that coming into spring. Peyton Pierce had a fantastic spring. No one inside the building was surprised. James Laurinaitis has been talking him up forever. But I was wondering who was going to be that number 4 linebacker. My money's on Riley Pettijohn. All right, since this is a gambling show, we talk about sports, period, but it definitely has a gambling angle. Let's put odds here at the On the Money Sportsbook of Julian Sain being the starting quarterback at Ohio State this fall. It'd be massive, right? Do we think it'd be like minus? What would you put the odds on? Like minus 5,000? Is that too low?
Oh, gosh. Is
that too high?
I think that's... Listen, and I think... Man, I don't know. It was a great showing by him yesterday, and obviously he was leading the depth chart heading into the spring.
You're a Lincoln Kienholz guy, so maybe I'm asking the wrong guy.
I am a Lincoln Kienholz guy, but I think there's a lot of people that have seen spring practice that have become Lincoln Kienholz guys, right?
He played better than Julian at the student appreciation scrimmage, yeah.
And Julian played really good yesterday from all accounts. Again, we're actually having it on the screen. Yeah. I'm seeing some of it.
Hard to do when they're doing a radio show, huh?
Lincoln didn't play bad, though.
No.
I mean, Lincoln's numbers were really good, too. It sounds like he got off to maybe a little bit of a slower start.
Correct.
But Lincoln's numbers aren't bad. I think it's closer. I don't think the odds are that crazy. I mean, I know you've been on Julian the whole time and said you didn't care about any of it. He was going to be the starter from what you've seen and what you thought.
So I'm going 1 to 50. Maybe I'll go a little lower than that. 1 to 4. What would you put it at?
I mean,
Julian's going to be the starter.
I was thinking about minus 200.
Ooh.
But I think it's close. Oh, but I could be wrong.
Cam, we're going to take his money, I think. Minus 200?
You see it more, though.
Minus 200? Oh, geez, you better raise that, man. Jeez, I know this is like monopoly money, but minus 200, I'd get pretty big on that. Julian Sain being the starting quarterback for Ohio State. Yeah, I think it has to be a lot higher than that. Cam, what would you put it at? What would you put it at? I got it at, Ryan has it at minus 200. I have it at minus 4,000. There's a lot of middle ground there.
So you're basically saying it's a lock. It's happening.
Close to a lock.
Which you've been that way the whole time.
I've said the entire time that I like Lincoln, and by the way, people were asking me during our post-game podcast, is Lincoln going to transfer now? No, he's not going to transfer. He knows he's one play, even if he is behind Julian, which maybe he doesn't think he is, he's one play away from being the starter. He's entering his 3rd year. He still has 3 years of eligibility left, much like Devin Brown. I think even if he loses a job, he's going to stick around.
Listen, we say no, he's not, but there are back channels, remember? What if somebody says...
I bet Lincoln...
5 to 1.
You're going 5 to 1. So I'm the outlier here. You guys are giving like Lincoln a good shot here. Minus 200, minus 500.
I guess I'm just going with everything.
I'm going to minus 4,000.
I guess I'm just going with everything that I've heard from people that have been there. You're one of those people that have been there, though, and you've never wavered. But I know a lot of people that have said Lincoln has been the best quarterback all spring.
Well, I mean, are those people that have seen every practice or people that have seen bits and pieces like practice like me? Yeah, but media guys?
Yeah.
Okay, I would, and I'm saying this as somebody who does practice reports on our site, but I always point this out during the practice reports. All right, Student Appreciation Day, everybody talks about that, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't even get to see the whole practice that day. We got to see half of a practice.
I guess, okay.
1 hour of a practice. So everybody gets, and I understand it, we're all prisoners of the moment. We all overreact to things in sports. I get it. But like when we're out there, we get a total of like 3.5 practices to watch all spring. I'd be really careful about putting too much stock in, Lincoln looked better than Julian throughout the spring. I don't think the coaches feel that way.
Yes, that's fair.
You know, and I take one thing I have said, even though I said it all along, I think Julian's going to be the starter. I'm pretty much convinced of it. Not 100% convinced, but pretty much convinced. But I've said all along, I do think this is a legit competition. Like when Ryan Day had to talk out the side of his mouth and say, yeah, this is a legit competition between Justin Fields and Gunnar Hoke. It's like, really? I don't believe you. But you had to do it, though, because, they needed depth. I think this is a real competition. Lincoln Kienholz is entering his third year. This is his third year just focusing on football after being an absolute stud athlete at so many different sports. USA Today Athlete of the Year in 2023. He could get the job done here. I think it's a legit competition. I just think Julian Sayin is definitely going to be the starter.
Real quick, Craig on the YouTube. Does Ohio State play 2 quarterbacks against Texas?
You're going to give me flashbacks to 2005, aren't you? I say no on that. That didn't work out well when the Longhorns came here in 2005. Tressel's hands were tied because Troy was coming off a suspension, but still it was like, dude, they should have. And Justin Zwick played well in that game. Jay-Z played well. Hamby had the dropper. They win that game.
It's one of the great questions all time in Ohio State football, right? If Hamby catches that ball, you'd think Troy Smith eventually won out, but that goes a little longer.
I thought you were going to say if he catches the ball, do they win? I'm like, that's not a question.
No. How does that quarterback battle play out?
Would Troy Smith end up winning the job? The fact that he tore up Michigan the previous year, if Jay-Z would have kept playing well, who knows? That's a great, maybe we should do a this or that about that next on The Money.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. Moving up payday so you could get your money faster. Up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
The 2 most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Scotty Vegas has his own cot in the casino. You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. What a play.
Welcome back to On the Money. Dave Biddle, Ryan Baker, Cam Taylor, Scotty Vegas. It's under the weather. Hope you're feeling better, Scotty. All right, right about now, it's time for This or That. Hit it, Cam. All right, my first one. They came out with this interesting story. I think a lot of people already knew this if you're a diehard golf fan, but things announcers are not supposed to say at the Masters. Okay, so you can't say things like, you can't call the fans, they're patrons. Okay, you can't say back 9, you have to say the second 9. You can't say rough, you have to say the second cut. What are some other ones? That aren't even, you can't say sand trap, you have to say bunker. There's a few other ones that are even worse, so that aren't even coming to mind. All right, are you guys getting with, that's actually pretty cool. It's the Masters, it's pretty cool, yeah. They don't want broadcasters to say these certain words. They don't want them to say fans because it's short for fanatic. They want them to call them patrons, all this stuff. You find that cool? Or do you think that's lame?
So normally I'm on the side of lame with this because I think golf is too stuffy. And I think they're too, like to me, and I love golf. I really do, and I love playing, and I know it's a different level with these guys, but they're trying to hit a stationary target, right? Baseball players are swinging at 100-mile-per-hour fastball with flash bulbs going off and people screaming and people yelling. And I understand there's a golf, it's got to be perfect all the time. There's more failure than not in baseball. I get it's a different thing, but normally I'm like baseball is too stuffy, or football or golf, is too stuffy. But in this, I think it's kind of cool because the Masters is just like, hey, we don't care what you think. We do things the way we do. If you want in, you play by our rules or you're out. Like a couple years ago when they were like, hey, sponsors are throwing a fit about stuff that we're doing here. We'll just play this tournament without commercials. We don't need you. So normally I'm like, this is too stuffy. Kind of cool, though, because they're just like, we don't care what you think. We're doing it our way.
You almost convinced me. This was convinced me.
This has not convinced me, though.
You almost convinced me, but you didn't. This is this or that. I'm getting with it's lame. I think it's lame. I hate stuff like that. It's lame.
Cam, what do you think about this?
Lame or cool?
I was leaning towards lame like Ryan, I think, but because it's specifically the Masters and trying to keep their kind of tradition, and they have the cheap sandwiches still, they haven't increased their prices, and
that's cool.
Like the green jacket and everything. I'm okay if the Masters does it, but like Ryan said, it is kind of goes with like golf being kind of stuffy and kind of more an older crowd, and so I kind of agree with that.
I'm glad you guys mentioned some Masters food because I have a couple of this or that's coming up, but I want to get to this one first. I'm not guaranteeing you a championship with this.
Okay.
But I'm guaranteeing you the Blue Jackets make it to the Stanley Cup final next year, or Ohio State basketball makes it to the Final Four. No championship guarantee.
Give it to me again. Ohio State Final Four or CBJ. How far?
CBJ in the Stanley Cup final. So they are playing for the Stanley Cup.
I have to go CBJ. And I love both. If anything, I'm probably a bigger Ohio State basketball fan than I am CBJ. Just because I've been an Ohio State basketball fan for as long as I can remember. And the Jackets have been around since, 2000? I'm going to go with the Jackets making the Stanley Cup finals. That would be awesome. This town would be on fire. And there's a chance they could win it. And I've seen Ohio State in the Final Four multiple times. So and I would love to see them win a championship, though. This is a tough one. This is a great one. I'm getting with CBJ in the Stanley Cup finals.
This question is tearing at two me's here. This is tearing at my younger self, which Ohio State basketball was my favorite number one team growing up. And the Blue Jackets are my favorite team now. So I have to go with my favorite team now, but my younger self is like tearing at me right now from the inside because it hates my answer.
That is a great question.
That is good.
I have seen the OSU lose a national championship like I've seen them play in the Final Four, but any kind of playoff success for the CBJ and they're in the Stanley Cup, give me the Stanley Cup with the CBJ.
We got a clean sweep.
And I know anything could happen, like if you get to the Final Four, but man, you get to the Stanley Cup finals, like anything could happen. So, all right, Cam, what do you got, man?
So I had one for you guys, kind of big into TV, obviously, but would you rather, are you guys getting with Seinfeld or The Office?
Ooh, that's a really good one. So Seinfeld's my favorite of all time, so I'm getting with Seinfeld, but I love The Office as well. It's a great question. I'm getting with Seinfeld, and it cracks me up how there seems to be something happens in life, and there's always a Seinfeld episode that like has some insights on that. It's just the craziest thing. I'm getting with Seinfeld. It's my favorite.
So this is interesting. I have never really seen Seinfeld or The Office except for random reruns here or there.
Nate just gave you a death stare.
I'm not this is how I am with TVs and movies.
That
like,
was
I
hilarious.
don't see a lot of them all the time.
You just dumbfounded our guys in there.
I understand. I will say this. I will get with Seinfeld because I have seen more reruns of Seinfeld in the past, and there are a lot of really funny moments in there. I've probably only seen a handful of episodes of The Office in my life, so I'll go Seinfeld by default because I've seen it more.
I've seen both shows, so I am a fan of both, but The Office, maybe because I'm younger, I'll definitely go with The Office, but definitely love this from Seinfeld.
Love it. There's so many. Soup Nazi. I mean, we could just go on and on and on and on. Drink. Did I not quite talk over it? All right, my next one. We've been talking about this. Is the current pay-to-play model in college football sustainable? Not will it exist. It will still exist to this extent. And I'm not talking about star players that have proven themselves like a J.J. Smith. Those guys, whatever he's getting paid, he's worth it. I'm talking about a guy like Nico. Okay, guys that are maybe above average, maybe you could argue they're good, getting paid $2.2 million a year. Are rich donors going to keep doing this? Or are they going to eventually say, my return on investment is nowhere near what I want it to be? I didn't get rich by, throwing my money away. Do you guys think it's sustainable or not?
No. No explanation needed. Nope,
I don't think it is either. Just like I said, I think it'll happen for the next couple years, 5 years from now. I think too many guys, as we were talking about earlier, let's look at Ohio State basketball, even though I'm talking about football. If you're somebody who ponied up a ton of money for Aaron Bradshaw, you're a local donor, how are you feeling about that right now? You're not feeling real good about that, okay? That happens a couple more times, you're probably going to say, okay, no mas. So I don't think it's sustainable at these dollar amounts.
No.
Maybe the easiest this or that in the history of this or that. All right, guys, so a lot is made of the Masters and what they do there, but also the menu and the food choices. So on their menu, they have a bunch of different sandwiches, but there are two in this price range. They have $2.50 sandwiches. So are you getting with the $1.50 pimento cheese, or are you getting with the $1.50 egg salad?
See, you guys thought the previous one was easy. This one is super easy for me. Egg salad, baby, all the way. I'm getting with egg salad all the way. And it's got to be, hopefully it's up to my standards. I make some good egg salad. So I'm getting with the egg salad.
So I am not an egg salad guy. I am a big cheese guy, all kinds of cheeses for the most part. So I'm going to have to go with the pimento cheese.
I'm a fan of neither of these sandwiches, so it's just kind of tough for me. I'll try an egg salad over a pimento cheese, though.
Now, if you told me like grilled cheese, I'd go grilled cheese over egg salad.
Speaking of grilled cheese, you were down on campus yesterday.
Yeah.
There is not one better than the grilled cheese at the Varsity Club. It is so good.
I'll have to try that.
Triple cheese, add some bacon. Oh, my gosh. I can hear my arteries hardening right now.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about a triple grilled cheese sandwich with bacon. You throw some pickle on there too.
I think you can get a pickle with it, but okay. I'm not a pickle guy,
I like putting a dill pickle like in the sandwich itself. I know,
like the slices. Just
I might have to cut it up a little bit more. The spears, cut up a little bit more so they fit in a little better. But I like the pickle in the grilled cheese sandwich. All right, what's your next one?
So this one's a little more. They've got some sandwiches at the Masters that are $3. So this is like a this or this or this or, all of them.
Okay.
So we've got the Masters Club, the chicken salad on honey wheat, ham and cheese on rye, classic chicken, or pork barbecue.
It's either the first one or the last one for me. What's on the club? I'm guessing that's like turkey, roast beef, bacon,
club,
ham, and all that. I'll probably go with that. Pulled pork is right there, though.
So
I'm getting with that one.
This was tough for me because a lot of these are good. I think, though, looking these up, I'm just going to go with the classic chicken. It almost looks like a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. It looks really good. Now, I would see if I could get some cheese on that, but it's the Masters, so I'm guessing I can't. But I'm going to go with just the classic chicken. Although I have heard my dad says that barbecue sandwich is really good.
Just make sure they know you're a patron and not a fan.
I definitely would probably lean towards the barbecue pork, but a chicken salad on honey wheat sounds really good as well.
Back to you. I know you have one more.
I do have one more, and this is not food related, but
okay.
I felt like this one was right up your alley and might be a little difficult. Maybe it's easier than I think, though. You can attend one of these sporting events. Are you going to the Masters, or are you going to Wimbledon?
Wimbledon. Definitely.
It's easier than I thought, then.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you know I'm more into golf or more into tennis than golf. I don't watch a ton of tennis, but I do watch the Grand Slams for sure, and I watch, you know, the Cincinnati Open. I almost called it the Cincinnati Masters, but Cincinnati Open. I watch all the Grand Slams, but I'm not into watching like, you know, like for example, the Monte Carlo Masters and stuff like that with tennis. But I like tennis more than golf, so give me Wimbledon.
So I feel like obviously the majors in both sports are huge, but I feel like these are the creme de la creme.
Definitely.
Both. Like if you're a tennis player and I say, do you want to win the U.S. Open or Wimbledon? I think you're going to say Wimbledon.
Even in American, I agree with that.
And I think if you're a golfer, I say you want to win the Masters or you want to win the U.S. Open. I feel like you're going to pick the Masters, although they all have great, rich histories. There was a time in my life when I was younger when I actually watched a lot of tennis. And I loved watching Wimbledon. I just thought that was so different, the grass court and everything.
Agassi, Sampras era, I'm guessing?
Yeah, all of that.
Oh, yeah,
Michael
that was
Chang,
great.
Jim Courier.
We didn't know how good we had it. I didn't even like Sampras because I liked Agassi. Little did I know we were going to go on a dry spell after those guys. We did have Andy Roddick, who won one, and we haven't won one since.
They were so good, and Wimbledon's even different because of the all-white. It's kind of like the Masters, right? And they have their rules, and you either follow them or you don't.
That's true.
This is very close to me, actually. But I think I'm going to lean the Masters. I'd love to do both, though.
I also grew up watching a good amount of tennis, big Roger Federer guy, and so his best event, his best major was the Wimbledon, so I'd love to get to see Wimbledon live for one time.
One more quick one for me. A lot of people making their summer plans. Hopefully you've already made your plans for making a summer vacation because these places tend to fill up. But generally speaking, if you're taking a summer vacation, let's say you're going for a week. Generally speaking, you getting with going to a beach for a week? Or you getting with staying up in the mountains for a week, getting a nice cabin up in the mountain? I'm not talking about roughing it up in the mountain. I'm talking about you get like a nice cabin where you have like a pool table in there and stuff like that, hot tub on the deck. You know, I'm not talking about roughing it. You getting with mountains or you getting with beach?
God, I love both of these. You said summer vacation, though, correct?
I did.
So summer vacation, I'm going to have to go with the beach. Well, one, I do it every summer. I'm going to be doing it later in July, go to the beach for a week. But two, I like that cabin kind of like more in the fall. So if we say, are we going to do this in the fall/winter? Maybe I'll take the cabin. I love them both.
What about spring?
Summer vacation, I'm going to the beach. Probably the beach in the spring, too.
Okay, you convinced me. I'd have to do beach in the summer. Just it goes so well together. But I love both. I absolutely love both. Spring, I would still do the mountains. But summer, I'm with you. I'll get with beach. Camo?
Beach.
All right, up next, Masters betting. Ohio State football coming at you on the money.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Ah, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Yeah, boss asked us to get the Ohio Lottery kiosks ready for the new $20 scratch-off, $2 million extreme cash. With $38 million in total prizes, we had to go big. We had cup holders, monster truck tires, even installed air horns, in case somebody reveals the extreme symbol and wins every prize on the scratch-off. Boss thinks the light show's a bit much, but gotta celebrate $2 million top prize winners somehow. So yeah, play $2 million extreme cash from the Ohio Lottery. And if you can tell my boss I did a good job, that'd be cool too. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Save big money on your next project now at Menards. Don't let an outdated garage door define your home. Revamp your home's appearance with a new Ideal garage door. Choose from our large in-stock selection or design your own using our free designer. Save big on Ideal garage doors. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco. ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco. ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco. ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Bo Bishop here. High Bank Distillery Co. is the most awarded distillery in America at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Stop by your local liquor store to grab a bottle, or the 3 restaurant locations in Gahanna, Grandview, or Westerville. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV? Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad.
Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube.
Search 971 The Fan.
Do it now.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Dave Biddle's favorite kind of psychology is reverse psychology.
You're listening to On the Money.
Presented by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. What a play.
All right, final segment of the show, but you guys are stuck with Ryan and myself for another hour because I'm filling in for Scotty Vegas on the Fan Collins Show, hosted by Ryan Baker. This will be my debut on the newish Fan Collins Show. Looking forward to that. So
be fun.
Get your calls ready. Don't call yet because I don't think the phone lines are open. But 614-821-9710 is the number. 614-821-9710.
And even though Scotty isn't here, Bids, we will still have a $50 Visa gift card to give away to our favorite caller. And we'll have some ESPN dining credits as well if anybody else blows us away.
I love it. You guys are bribing the listeners. That's a good way to get listeners.
I guess ESPN Sportsbook dining credits.
There you go. Hey, Scotty has like millions of them. He never gives one to me. I'm like, can you break me off one of those? He's like, I gave you a T-shirt. What more do you want here? All right, fair enough. He gave me a T-shirt. All right, here's your updated odds to win the Masters. We mentioned this earlier, but if you're just tuning in, Rory, of course, is the favorite. -190, Bryson +240, Corey Connors 18-1, Ludwig Oberg 35-1, and Scotty Scheffler 40-1. Everybody else is basically 150-1 or more. So, and I really don't even think. I mean, I guess those five have a shot. Like Scotty Scheffler has a chance. Oberg has a chance, just not a very good one. Connors, I guess, has a chance, but it's really Rory.
They'll need help.
Yeah, a lot. It's really Rory versus Bryson, and Scotty, speaking of Scotty, last week on the show said those are the two guys to really keep an eye on is Rory and Bryson.
And listen, we've already talked about this. My money's on Bryson DeChambeau today. He's at +240 right now to win this tournament. I know him and Rory are both playing good. Bryson, the only guy this weekend, though, to shoot in the 60s all three rounds, as Rory shot a 72 in round number one. So, listen, there's an 11-year track record here with Rory McIlroy. Maybe he will prove me wrong. Oh, hello, friends.
Hello, fans. Oh, you can't say that. Hello, patrons. Hello. I can't say Sandtrap. Hello.
Like, that immediately lowers your blood pressure, right? Like, that's the best blood pressure medicine there is. Like,
that is true.
That just calms you.
It does.
Relaxes
it's very
you.
calming.
Bryson DeChambeau wins today, though. That's my call.
Bryson DeChambeau wins today. That's his call.
Also, the Reds sweep the Pirates. Let's go. Hunter Green.
Hunter Green against a guy that we've never heard of for the Pirates. He'll probably throw a no-hitter since we've never heard of him. But again, if you can play the Pirates in a series and miss Paul Skeens, that's good business right there. So let's hope the Reds and Hunter Green can get it done. Let's also hope we can get it done for the Fan Collins Show. That's coming up next. 614-821-9710. Stick around. This has been On the Money.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only 79 cents a pound with your card, an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today?
How?
You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmans.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump check.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump check. Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check?
Oui.
Yes, of course. A sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again?
Zoom pump.
Some pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. Apex Pros.